So it might seem like a bargain getting cosmetic dentistry done in Turkey, but it can end up being a very expensive and painful mistake. A lot of people will seek these treatments for a wide range of reasons. Maybe they want to have a Hollywood smile, or they've always been self-conscious of their teeth. And cosmetic work on their smile was always out of their reach. But what if you had gone to Turkey and spent a few $1,000s and returned home to find out that everything was falling apart and you'd be landed with a bill of nearly $30,000 to fix everything? In this video, I'm going to be following the story of Leanne. The aim of this story is to share and show this story to as many people as possible so more people don't end up in the same scenario. Okay, so a little bit of context first. Leanne always had trouble with her teeth. It was something that kind of ran in her family, and a lot of the times, she would have talked about how her parents had lost teeth, other members in her family had lost teeth, and they were wearing dentures from a relatively young age. Leanne used to work in Turkey as a holiday rep, and one time whenever she was out there, she started to have a little bit of trouble from one of her teeth, so the company suggested a dentist for her, and she went. So whenever she went to see this dentist, he fixed whatever problem that she was having, but then he also gave her a quote for some other work, some veneers to replace some of her missing teeth as well. And that was around 12 or 1300 euro. Then Leanne agreed, she was happy with that, and she had those teeth for maybe 10 or 15 years, and she was very happy with them. And 10 to 15 years would be a fairly average lifespan for this type of treatment. And then fast forward a few more years, she started having a bit more trouble with her teeth again. And in some of her TikTok videos, she talks about a situation where she was out somewhere and one of her teeth had actually fallen out, and it was one of the veneers and one of the crowns that she had, and she used nail glue to stick that tooth back in again. Now, I just wouldn't recommend that in general. Don't do that. Nail glue, super glue, whatever. It's not good for your body. It's toxic and it's poisonous. So after that, she decided to do some homework and decided that she was going to go back to Turkey. So she was doing her research into which dentist she was going to go to. I don't know exactly what process it was that she had gone through, but I know from my own personal experience, I've kind of sent stuff off to these dentists as well before, just to see what they would recommend for me. And basically all it is send us a few pictures of your teeth, of not great angles of your teeth, and send us an x-ray if you have one, and they'll send you back the treatment plan that they have. So there's no initial examination there. As far as I can tell from her TikTok, the plan generally was to remove all of her teeth and place implants and to make a denture or a bridge to replace those missing teeth. So it seems like the process was done, and it seemed to happen over a couple of days. The first day that she went in, they took x-rays and they had a look at her teeth, and they decided what they were going to do. It was at that point then that she found out she was actually going to need extra implants than what they had already promised her. She was going to need a bone graft, a sinus lift, and these extra treatments that she wasn't aware of before.
So just had my x-rays to be told I need another screw at the top, this side, and a bone graft and a sinus lift.
And so then that same day, she had all of her teeth removed, she had the sinus lift, she had the bone graft, and however many implants that she had put in. And according to her TikTok, it wasn't a particularly nice experience. There were lots of numbing injections involved, but at the end of the day, the implants were in. That evening then, she started to have a lot of pain, a lot of swelling, but this is expected to be because it's reasonably normal after having such a large amount of treatment done. I mean, she had all of her teeth removed and I don't know, maybe about 10 implants placed, plus the sinus lift and plus the bone graft. It would be expected to be a bit sore at this stage. The next day then, she goes back to have impressions taken and to get her temporary teeth. And at this point, she's still sore, she's still swollen, and now she's starting to look a bit bruised as well. But again, that's to be expected at this point in the treatment. So after she got home, all of her symptoms started to deteriorate further and further. She was getting more and more swelling, she was still really, really sore, the bruising was still there, and eventually the bottom temporary teeth had come out. And so then she was going back and forth between different doctors, different dentists, in and out of the hospital, and going to see lots of different specialists. but nobody was really able to do anything meaningful for her other than giving her lots and lots of antibiotics. And it's more so because someone in that situation does not want to assume somebody else's work, because that also means that you're going to be assuming the liability for it. So all these doctors and dentists were encouraging her to go back to Turkey to have the work looked at, fixed, whatever needed to be done. But months and months go by and Leanne still hasn't gone back to Turkey. She doesn't want to go back anymore. And now at this stage, her temporary teeth are broken into multiple pieces. And now fast forward again a few more months, and with all of these complications still ongoing, lots of infections around her face, and the pain and the swelling and the bruising all still there, eventually what happens is that the septum of her nose and her nose itself starts to collapse. Leanne has a long road still to go with her treatment. Her face will never be the same as it once was. And not all dentists in Turkey are bad, but if you're going somewhere where you can't speak the language and you don't fully understand what you're getting yourself in for, then these things can, and in Leanne's case, do happen.